Hare Yes, sir.
He who brought the treasure of divine love and who was filled with compassion and mercy, where is such a personality as Srinivasacharya gone?
Where are my Swarup Damodar and Rupa Goswami? Where is Sanatana? Where is Raghunath Das, the savior of the fallen?
Where are my Raghunath Bhatta and Gopala Bhatta, and where is Krishnadas Kaviraj? Where did Lord Gauranga, the great dancer, suddenly go?
I will smash my head against a rock and enter into fire. Where will I find Lord Gauranga, the reservoir of all wonderful qualities?
Being unable to obtain the association of Lord Gauranga, accompanied by all these devotees in whose association he performed his pastimes, Narottama Dasa simply weeps.
We sing another. We sing another.
What's that?
Do we sing another one?
Let's chant another bhajan.
Why Vaishnava Thakur?
Why not? Yeah.
What page is it in your book?
Yeah, 61. Oye
Vaishnav Thakur, O Ocean of Mercy, be merciful to this servant of yours, and purify me with the shade of your lotus feet. Your lotus feet I humbly hold.
By helping me control the 6 urges, and purify me of the 6 faults, bestow upon me, your servant, the 6 good qualities. O Master, please give me the 6 kinds of holy association. I have sat down here hoping to have your company.
Alone I find I have no strength to chant the holy name of Lord Hari. I beg you, therefore, please be merciful, and with a particle of faith, give me the great treasure of holy name of Krishna.
Krishna is yours, and you can give him.
Even in the best tempered of us, it happens.
Actually, Prabhupada, as Mother said, this is a very sweet and a very sad day. We miss you very much. There's no doubt of that. However, we feel your presence more and more, actually. You've left us in this physical form, which we miss dearly. Taking walks with you, seeing you kirtan, hearing your classes personally, was such a sweet, wonderful experience. But you have given us this instruction to serve you in separation. You've left without doing the whole thing so that we'll have some service to do, to spread this movement all over the world and to follow in your footsteps. So we can only cling tighter to your dhoti and try to remember more and more your teachings and what you stood for, what you're here all about. We need to study your books more and more. We need to distribute your books more and more. And we need to give this Krishna consciousness to the world to show our love for you. Because that was definitely your mood and always will be. We also have to make the world aware of what your mood is. Some people are starting to speculate that Prabhupada stood for this, Prabhupada stood for that. And unfortunately, these are people who just aren't reading your books. For one who reads your books, they get to associate with you personally. As you have said, these purports of yours are your personal ecstasies. So one who reads your books and studies them earnestly will get to associate directly with you. Your physical body may not be there to be touched, but you are personally there in your books. So let us cherish these books and worship them and spread them profusely to everyone and spread your movement throughout the world for eternity. I beg you for the strength to serve you forever. I have nothing but you. I have no opinion of my own. I only want to spread your opinion. So please give me the strength to serve you eternally. Thank you so much, Srila Prabhupada.
I don't think I can exactly follow in the footsteps. If I look at Prabhupada, I think I'll just cry. So I have to look at your wonderful faces and then I'll try to keep my composure. Just a little bit, I've said this before, but since there's only two of us here that were there when Prabhupada left, and even some of you weren't even alive when Prabhupada left the planet, but Prabhupada was getting weaker. Even in February of that year, I was in India in Mayapur in '77, and Prabhupada was giving classes, and then all of a sudden one morning we were waiting for him to give class, and Tamal Krishna Maharaj came down and said, Prabhupada is very sick, he can't come down and give class. And that was like the first time I had even thought that Prabhupada would be sick, although you knew that he was going back to India, different things, he had heart attacks, but somehow or other you had this idea that Prabhupada was invincible because of everything he was doing. So the thought that Prabhupada was sick and he couldn't come down and give class in Mayapur when all the devotees were there just to see him was like a shock. And so the whole time Tamal Krishna Maharaj was speaking, I just kept thinking, why isn't Prabhupada down here? Why isn't he sitting there and watching? There must be something wrong. And like that. So that was kind of the beginning of the gradual until November when he actually left. And a few months later, there was a request from the GBC. I guess they asked Prabhupada, all these pastimes, so many intimate things are there, and I believe I'm reading on the different books that we can all read and relish. But from my perspective, they were asking Prabhupada, what should we do? We want you to stay. What does Krishna want? And there's a lot of emotion there and a lot of heart pulling. And what should we do? Should we ask Prabhupada to stay even though maybe he doesn't want to? Is he dissatisfied with us? So Prabhupada said, what you can do is you can pray to Krishna. And the prayer is, my dear Lord Krishna, if you so desire, please cure Srila Prabhupada. So devotees were chanting that all the time. You know, you chant your 16 rounds and you practically chant 16 rounds of that and all the devotees were praying, and then the reality hit that maybe Prabhupada might be leaving us, although we couldn't even think that would happen, but we had to be realistic, and so a part of us kind of knew that maybe this would happen, but the other part, just couldn't accept it. And then as it got a little closer and Prabhupada was fasting and, it wasn't looking like he was, going to get well, then we started having 24-hour kirtan. And before that had never been done in our temples where we did that. We have a kirtan. Now we have 12-hour kirtans, 24-hour kirtans. Many temples have been going on for years and years, 24-hour kirtans, because this is the first time that we did that. And so we all took shifts into be with Prabhupada. And I like to get up early anyway, so I took an early shift, like 2 o'clock. And it was so sweet to be there in the temple room and, chanting and being there with Prabhupada. So then, of course, the inevitable happened in November 14th. And it was about 7:10 p.m. And of course, before that, just about a week before that, the GBC sent a memo to all the temples that Prabhupada was pretty much, we knew what was going to happen. So anyone that could come to India should come to India and be with Prabhupada. And everyone was like, yeah. But of course, the temples were, I don't know if they're poorer than we were, but so we only sent one devotee from San Diego to be with Prabhupada, but there's a lot of beautiful, beautiful pastimes and intimate times during that, couple weeks that devotees were with Prabhupada for the last time. So, then Gunagrai called us all for an Istagosi and, told us, of course, 7 in the evening is 7 in the morning, so it was about 10 o'clock when we got the word, and the devotees gathered, and everyone was just like totally bewildered, what to do, and a lot of confusion ensued after that, but I don't want to dwell on that, but just to give everyone kind of a sense of, what was happening in the movement. What I wanted to do, this is the Namacharya book by one of our devotee group of Vilas Das, and there was one really interesting section in here that I wanted to read. I'll read and then explain it if I'm taking too long. So this is a paragraph by Bhakti Siddhanta when he was ordering his disciples to go preach in the West. And I've never even heard anything like this before. And just to read this and then even gives me even more than I already had of appreciation for Srila Prabhupada coming over to the West. So he's saying, those nations to whom you are going to for propagation of the chant of Hari are mounted on the summit of proficiency in all affairs of this world. They are practiced in the exercise of their rational judgment, are endowed with the quality of good manners, and are superior and glorious in many respects. We would think that he would say, you're going to see hogs, dogs, camels, and asses. Yeah. And he's saying this. Therefore, we should maintain our hope unshaken that they will prove to be the worthiest recipients of the heard transcendental voice if we unlock the gates of the natural exhibition of abiding argument and enduring judgment, if we unpack our baggage of the genuine discourse of Hari by relying on the qualities of forbearance, it will certainly receive the garland of welcome from the hearts of nations gifted with keen intelligence. Isn't that incredible?
Wow.
That is incredible. But despite that, obviously all the disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati didn't think that was true. Didn't think it was worth really going, and certainly nothing could be done with us. That we didn't have the intelligence, that we didn't have the open heart, that we didn't have the qualifications to take up Krishna consciousness. But one disciple did. Srila Prabhupada, he actually took these words and many other words that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said and came to the West. He came to save us. And even though the instruction was there very clear, but no one took it up. No one took it up but Srila Prabhupada. And then later, nothing succeeds like success. So when Prabhupada was so successful, then they're like, oh yeah, I was just about, I've been wanting to go now for 50 years. I just haven't had a chance. But now I do. Get me the first class ticket on, Singapore Airlines, the top airlines, and I'll come and I'll preach. So when I was reading this, I was even more appreciating Prabhupada, that he actually understood the message of Bhaktisiddhanta, and it's very clear here and in many other passages. But this was like totally amazing. I thought that he saw the Western nations like that he saw that there were some qualifications there that would merit taking on Krishna consciousness. And of course, he was absolutely right. So now all over the world, by the grace of Srila Prabhupada, people are chanting and dancing and performing. That's the most amazing thing, that you can go anywhere in the world and go in a temple and it's the exact same thing. They're cooking the exact prasadam, they're chanting the same songs, the deities are dressed similarly, the devotees are dressed similarly, and they're really embassies to the spiritual world. And we owe all of that to Srila Prabhupada.
I couldn't help but think, hearing that opinion of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, the importance of catching the mood of the spiritual master. Srila Prabhupada was the only disciple that actually picked up on his mood and followed the mood. He demonstrated the perfect disciple. The guru-disciple relationship was perfected by Srila Prabhupada's efforts. It wasn't that he thought that we were any better or had all these the possibilities. His guru did. He was locked in the mood of his guru. And nobody else was.
So maybe we could just kind of go from one side of the room to the other, whoever would like to.
Oh, you want to go front?
Yeah, I'm just getting on the side here, so. Does that know if you're jumping up to get something, or? If the devotees feel a little shy, then maybe after hearing more, then they'll feel inspired to get. I think he's gone. So, so you wanna.
Maybe somebody wants to start out something over there.
I'll go. Okay.
Yeah, go for
Be eager for the mercy.
Who are the most eager?
I'm just going to read from the Prabhupada nectar. Just a couple things. I won't go on and on.
Oh, and I'm sorry, before you get going, if any of us have any phones that could be silenced, maybe we can, this would be a good opportunity to silence our phones before we go. I know they're terribly important to us, but.
Vande Guru Shri Chaturaj. I hope that's proper.
Yes.
Actually, I should start out here. Sometimes Srila Prabhupada would wear a Swami hat at a comical angle, with the flaps sticking out on either side of his head. Sometimes he would lie with his body draped across his sitting place, feet and legs hanging over the bolster pillows, completely relaxed. Sometimes he would transcendentally doze in a sitting position in his room. Of course, he did not behave so casually when guests were there. His walk with his cane was aristocratic, as was the tilt of his head. Everyone received him as a refined gentleman. He was usually seen in public with a large entourage, often when he was alone or at least in smaller groups. The casual and graceful poses of his body, sitting or walking, his movements in holding a chalice of water, the pinky extended,
a mudra signifying perfection. The silk cuff of his sleeve showing under his sweater, and then the soft, smooth-lined palms of his hands displayed while talking. All these charmed and pacified the heart. Sometimes Prabhupada would be preaching at length and then suddenly stand up, walk out of the room while everyone waited for his return. On his exit and on his re-entry, everyone would bow down. These small pleasurable aspects of his presence were a background to the serious business of life with Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada was stern and grave, always talking about immediate plans, heavy surrenders that he asked of his disciples, and yet the steady joy of being with Prabhupada was always there. Both were there. The joys of being near his person and the heaviness of his orders, and in his presence, Krishna's protection was always there. If I could do just one more, is that okay? Is that too long?
Yeah, sure.
It's like one paragraph. Srila Prabhupada sometimes traveled throughout India by train, accompanied by his disciples. On one occasion, the train stopped in a field full of purple flowers. One of the devotees climbed down, ran into the field, picked some flowers, and ran back to Prabhupada's car just as the train started to leave. Then the devotees brought Prabhupada a bouquet of purple flowers as an offering of devotion. Prabhupada calmly accepted them, but said, "Lord Shiva wears these flowers." The devotees were worried that they had made some guru aparadha. But Prabhupada smiled and stuck one flower behind each of his ears. He widened his eyes and made a large grin. "See?" Playing as if he were Lord Shiva with the purple flowers in his hair. Thank you, Prabhupada.
When Prabhupada was in South Africa, he didn't spend much time there. And there were two couples that were coming, well, just one couple, two people. And they were dressed kind of very, maybe you could say outrageously, but they were somehow interested in Krishna consciousness. And so they asked Prabhupada, "How do you get your power? Where does your power come from?" And he said, "First you have to learn how to love Krishna, and then you'll get the power." And then they couldn't. They just turned away and walked away. It's about devotion. It's not about becoming powerful. It's interesting how there's these different principles that are supposed to keep people away from non-devotees. It's said that the Vedas, it even says that you're not even supposed to see the face of a materialistic person because you get influenced by that. And that you shouldn't cross the ocean kind of on the same page with that. And so it definitely has its place where you have to kind of protect yourself so you don't get too much sway. But when we have somebody like Prabhupada, they can transcend all these things, and the desire, this tremendous compassion that's there is the overriding factor that enables people to attain to Krishna consciousness and not be scared, because we can be protected if we're seriously serving Srila Prabhupada's mission. There's a nice, I was just today when I make this story, just today I got something in the mail, and it's a little envelope where because Thanksgiving is coming up. And there was a little donation thing for that. And I was just thinking how different our lives would be if we didn't have Srila Prabhupada, because we would think, oh, that's a good thing, so help the people that are less fortunate and serve them dead animals and so on. We've come such a long way, and when you start to realize it's like a mode of ignorance. So it's just the change of our consciousness, our ability to reason, to understand what's right, what's wrong, what's beneficial, what's not, is really, it's all due to Prabhupada. So, just to close this out, Prabhupada said here, if we try our very best for Krishna, then we will make rapid advancement in Krishna consciousness, but not when we become foolhardy. So of course we have this checks and balances. When we want to do something, there should always be some kind of a confirmation to reinforce that we're doing the thing that would be best for all concerned. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
I feel myself, entitled to talk about Srila Prabhupada. First of all, I am his grandkid, So for me, the Srila Prabhupada disciple more about Srila Prabhupada than I. So just bear with me. I don't have too much thing to say. I will try to say something from to thank Srila Prabhupada from my heart. Everything he did. I've been listening to a lot of Srila Prabhupada class, and all his classes most of them, the year 1972. And that was the year I arrived to Paris, in France. And I said, wow, I came in 1972 in Paris. Why could not meet Srila Prabhupada during this year? So I was thinking, I said, maybe I was not really enough ready, I was not pure enough. So when I listened to his class, not to be, I'm sorry, like the retreat, No, but I like to listen to Srila Prabhupada class because I get so much inspiration, and his disciple also. But Srila Prabhupada gave me so much inspiration, so much strength, and when I do give, the Srimad Bhagavatam class, I don't know what to say. Srila Prabhupada encouraged me. He talked closely, he just repeat, he just say what I'm supposed to say, but he just. So the thing I want to say, thanks to him, and thanks for everything I've done, all the planet. Like those when I say, Srila Prabhupada, the servant of the world, ki jai. Srila Prabhupada did so much, and I feel so sorry I could not meet him in person. But by his blessing, he has made so many good disciples, and towards his disciple, I can learn how to know Srila Prabhupada and serve his mission, to his guru. Srila Prabhupada was very, very, very dedicated disciple to his guru, so we have to do the same. We have to do the same thing. Srila Prabhupada was a good example. And Srila Prabhupada is not only the savior of this planet, but he is the savior of all the universe. He's not Krishna himself, but he presents himself like a pure servant of Krishna. And all the guru who came to the Western world, they don't have nothing to give, just cheating others. They present themselves as, God or, the supreme guru. But Srila Prabhupada was a simple servant. He was very high spiritually. So he brings something so dear to us. And I have a lot to say, but because I was not prepared for it, so I cannot see that for sure. Nobody.
Aaron, would you like to say? Aaron?
So I just wrote a prayer for Srila Prabhupada. To our loving spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, on his disappearance day. I offer my humble obeisances unto his divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who is very dear to Lord Krishna on this earth and taking shelter of his lotus feet. Our respectful obeisances unto you, spiritual master, servant of Saraswati Goswami. You are kindly preaching the message of Lord Chaitanya Deva and delivering the Western countries, which are filled with personalism and voidsing. Srila Prabhupada, you illuminated our consciousness. You shattered fear in our hearts. You destroyed complacence. You resurrected hope. You lifted our spirits. You pierced through the darkness of illusion. You guided us to the light. You are the light. You conquer nations. You slay the demons of doubt. Your books are our compass. Your beautiful words are our shelter. Your purity is our strength. Your endless mercy is our benediction. You gave us peace. You gave us happiness. You gave us love. You gave us the greatest gift. You gave us Krishna. Thank you for creating a house that the whole world can live in. You exhibited the true meaning of unmotivated, uninterrupted, unadulterated, pure selfless love of your Guru, Sri Krishna, and all the fallen souls such as myself, swimming through the stool of material existence. I am forever indebted to you, and my only goal in life is to obtain one particle of dust from your lotus feet and to serve you perpetually. Please allow me to remain in your service by serving your my beloved Guru, His Grace Jivananda Prabhu, all the devotees in Sri Krishna without any other motivation or desire. All glories to you, most beloved Srila Prabhupada. Jai Shri. Hare Krishna.
So we honor both the appearance and disappearance of Srila Prabhupada. From the moment he appeared to the moment he disappeared, he lived his life perfectly, showing us how to utilize this human form of life, how to serve Krishna. He displayed the art of living and the art of dying. Showed us how to live our life, how to engage in devotional service. Like Gaura Prabhu was saying, a lot of us didn't get a chance to ever meet him physically on the planet. But through his writings, through his translations, and his lectures, we all feel like we've had a lot of direct personal association with Srila Prabhupada. All the work that he did, we can never repay the great favor he's done. What do you get the man that has everything? All we do is give our lives and humbly ask that he continues to engage us in service. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Prabhupada. I'm just thinking that I had a chance to do so many nice things since I came to the movement in San Diego a few years ago, and recently, for some reason, I was allowed to come here to Tucson and do many nice things, meet so many wonderful people, devotees. But one thing is to be associated with this Govinda's restaurant, which is, I don't really think about it myself, how important this prasadam distribution to the restaurant is. I tend to think more of the temple and the books, and I'm not a book distributor really, or philosophy and whatnot. Other ways we contact people, but a gentleman came and he said, I'm from Trinidad or Tobago, and he was interested in the restaurant because he's trying to become a vegetarian, but he can't stop eating fish. He says, I need a way to have something tasty to eat, So I'm eating fish, but I know I'm going to wean off of it. So I thought, and it just kind of stuck in my head, it's so wonderful that we have these restaurants. There's so many things to thank you for, Srila Prabhupada, but for myself, I'm just thinking how nice this prasadam distribution is, especially through a restaurant. And the gentleman walked in the restaurant even though we were closed, and the first thing he said was, oh, it's just like home or something. He made some comment like, it's home. Something. So I thought, wow, that's really amazing that he would, in a few seconds of being inside the restaurant, he thought that. So there's I don't know, my glasses maybe over there. Might be in trouble here. After my glasses. Anyway, I was going to read something from this.
You want to use mine?
Where am
You took them with you.
I thought I did.
And you didn't bring them back.
It's going really. Oh well, so many things happen.
There's 60
On the road. Thanks. Like I said, this is often from Govinda's restaurants in Hungary. Srila Prabhupada, you encourage your disciples to perform a peaceful revolution by which the whole world will change. We, the devotees rendering service at the Govinda's restaurants in Hungary, are very happy to take part in this revolution. Miracles are happening in front of our very eyes. People are changing by eating Krishna prasadam. It was you who first gave the Western world prasadam, food offered to the Lord. You emphasized the importance of the distribution of prasadam as well. The Govinda's restaurants are special places where the fallen souls can encounter the mood of their original home. Many of our guests speak about that. We learned from you, Srila Prabhupada, the mood of our original home and how to receive guests. You asked us to preach. Govinda's restaurant is the perfect place for preaching. We make friends with people in this way. They don't feel disturbed when we ask them to come to the temple or to Krishna Valley in Hungary. They actually want to know more about Krishna consciousness in our daily life after meeting us. This is all your glory, because without you we could not give them anything. So it goes on a little bit. Anyway, thank you so much, Srila Prabhupada, for so many things, including this beautiful restaurant and temple here in Tucson. Hare Krishna.
There you go.
Srila Prabhupada was brought up in a Vaishnava family from his childhood, and he said that in my life there was no time when I was there was no any moment in my life that I forget Krishna. So he was brought in that family mode, Vaishnava family mode, and he had seen so many sadhus, different types of sadhus, because since his father was a Vaishnava, many devotees would come, he would invite many sadhus and request them to bless his son, so that his son would be a good devotee in future. So in this way, Prabhupada had seen so many things. Sometimes he was frustrated from this so-called sadhus in India. They were dressing like sadhus and doing all nonsense. So once the Prabhupada was requested to see a very wonderful devotee in Calcutta, but Srila Prabhupada says, maybe he is also one of them, cheating sadhu. I don't go to him because I have seen everything since many times. But his friend insisted him, and then finally he agreed to go to see a sadhu. That was Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur in 1922, right? 1922, Prabhupada first met his guru. That was in Kolkata. And when Srila Prabhupada saw him first, he was immediately impressed by his appearance, by his talk, by his philosophy. That time Prabhupada was arguing with Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur that before spreading Krishna consciousness, before going for religious revolution, first we have to free the nation from British. I think this is first duty of Indian. He was arguing that way. Because that time Mahatma Gandhi was starting non-violence movement to remove the British from India, and Prabhupada liked that movement. But Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur discussed with him, and then he explained about the urgency of Krishna consciousness to the people. They are suffering from so many things. He says this world has sufficient for everything, but only one thing is lacking, that is Krishna consciousness. So if you are an educated young man, why not you preach this message of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to the West English-speaking people? And Prabhupada immediately took this order in his heart, and it took him several years to prepare for that. And when he was retired from his family life, and he came here to the West. And when he came West, he knew no one, he doesn't have any money in his pocket, and he even doesn't have good English. For a couple of years, devotees didn't understand Srila Prabhupada. They simply listen him, he's singing Hare Krishna in heart. So, and when he started preaching in America, he did not compromise with the people. He was speaking very straightforward way. I am not coming here to take from you, I am coming here to give you something, that is Krishna consciousness. And then sometimes he was very heavy in speaking to them. Already Prabhupada explained that you have no culture, you are like animal, you don't know anything else about spiritual life. So without compromising the absolute truth of the fact, he was speaking directly to the people, and the American people liked that, and they thought that this man, this old gentleman is not coming here to cheat us. He is really our father. And then they helped Srila Prabhupada to spread the movement, and sometimes some reporter would ask him that many people coming from India to show some magic and to give some mantra, saying that if you chant this mantra for a certain period of time, you become God, or you get liberation, you get moksha, and you can be self-realized, and then you have to pay this much money for the mantra. Such type of fake gurus are still coming to America, and they are all over the world. And they asked, what magic do you have, Swamiji? Do you have any magic to show to us? And Srila Prabhupada says, yes, see this. He's showing to his American disciples and saying, is this not the magic? They were hippie before, now they are happy. What magic than this? What more magic than this, see? And then all of them were stopped. So this way Srila Prabhupada has brought the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to the West. And his arrival was already predicted by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu predicted that my name will be spread all over the world, पृथ्वीते यते जते आछि नगराति ग्राम सर्वत्र प्रचार होइबे मोर नाम. So as many villages and towns are there in this world, in each and every village my name will be spread, my name will be chanted. This Hare Krishna Mahamantra will be chanted, it will be heard by all people in different corners of the world. So Bhakti Vinod Thakur says that one a great Senapati Bhakta, so army general, military general. Senapati means the head of the military. So he will appear and then take this movement to the west and it will be spreading like that because it was already predicted. So Prabhupada came to fulfill the prediction of previous Acharyas and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and his movement is still going on even after living this world for about 40 years. The organization is going smoothly. This is the success of ISKCON. And if you see any other organization, when the founder Acharya passed away, when the founder Acharya leaves the body, the movement also collapses. In India, there are so many such gurus, they get popular through television preaching. They have nothing to do in the public. But when they die, their movement is finished and another guru comes up. But Srila Prabhupada, he is not with us physically, and he says that there are two ways of association with the spiritual master. One is Bani, another is Bapu. One is physical association, and another is the association with his instruction, the words, books, knowledge. So we have his books, he is always with us, and his instructions are always in our head to carry on the movement. So if we simply follow the simple instruction of Srila Prabhupada, following 4 regulative principles, chanting 16 rounds, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam every day, and serving in the cooperative mood, that can make ISKCON more flourish in the future, and we ourselves also can be benefited from this. So I thank Srila Prabhupada very much because of his mercy we are here, and we are very, very fortunate to have his direct disciple in front of us. It means we are with Prabhupada. So I am very, very grateful to Srila Prabhupada and all the devotees on this very, very auspicious day. Thank you very much. I'm sorry for my bad disturbance.
Someone hiding back there. Is that Saver Priya?
Yes.
Saver Priya, would you like to come and say something?
Yeah, come on, Saver Priya.
Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else want to express your love and appreciation? Okay.
I think one last thing I'd like to say, we should keep in mind that the grandfather is usually more affectionate with the grandchildren. So with us, was chastise, do, go, do. And with the grandchildren, it's, oh, my nice grandchild, you are so sweet. So you have the affection of Srila Prabhupada. So, so take advantage of this affection of Srila Prabhupada. You know, try to exchange affection of Srila Prabhupada.
So now we'll have Pushpanjali. Maybe you could lead the chant. We could give him the book. Bring out the flowers, and we'll have a little prayer time, and then we'll